Back here in the back, woke up this morning, got a nice little breakfast in, and about ready to kick it with the team. I love to get a nice, really hard workout in. Not long, just short, but extremely hard and intense. Hit some pads, do a little bit of grappling, break a sweat, get everything moving from all the food and things I drank yesterday. So here goes nothing.
I just spent the last couple days cutting weight and hitting mitts while I'm cutting weight in heavy suits and stuff. So I don't feel like myself until I'm actually hitting pads with Henry the morning of the fight. And it reminds me how strong I am, how powerful I am, how skilled I am, when I just spent the last couple days not really feeling like that.
We're visualizing what we're going to do tonight because we had a good training camp, great training camp, we're ready to go. But this is the first time Mike and a couple of guys fight without audience, and it's totally different. I like it a lot, like a training session.
This is pretty much what it's going to sound like here tonight. You're going to be able to hear feet bouncing off the canvas, maybe some punches, maybe the cornermen, but man, it's not going to be much louder than this.
When you think about no crowds, I mean, I competed my first 10 years as an amateur wrestler with barely any crowd. And even when there was a decent crowd, I never really thought about the crowd. Of course, I get excited about the lights and the flames and the walkout music and the high fives of everybody on the way out, but that's not something that really gets me going. It's not something that really gets me excited. To be honest, I think no crowd is going to play into my favor even more, because whether you know it or not, as a fighter, the highs and the lows inside of a fight are always exemplified by the cheering or the boos or the energy of the crowd. And subconsciously, your heart rate is changing. But I won't feel that energy necessarily. It's going to be me, Benson, Henderson, staring across the cage from each other. The referee is going to say go. That cage door is going to lock, ding ding, and we're going to get into a contest. The last 12 weeks have been so challenging, being away from my two favorite people in the entire world, my wife, my son. My son's old enough now to understand that daddy's gone, he's not there. He feels and acts a certain way, and we can tell, that it's tough for him, for me not to be there. And so I just always have to think about the delayed gratification that when I get done with this fight, I win this fight and I get my hand raised, I get months and months and weeks to go home and just spend all of that time with him and my wife Bree. But as a fighter, as an athlete, this really has been one of the best training camps I've ever had in my entire life. This has been 12 solid weeks of focusing on an opponent, focusing on a game plan, focusing on me, my strengths, my skills, weaknesses, deficiencies that I need to turn into strengths, and 12 weeks of just the ebbs and the flows and the ups and the downs, making sure you're not overtraining, so pulling yourself back every now and then, but really just focusing on the things that are going to make me successful inside that cage. So I almost have this tale of two different people. I am, daddy, and I am Michael, the husband and the father, but I'm also Michael Chandler, Iron Michael Chandler, world champion fighter. And in the locker room, the day is kind of a lull, making sure you're eating and hydrating and keeping your mind right. And then you get to the arena, and in the locker room, you're surrounded by your people. You are getting your hands wrapped. You're really starting to visualize how you want the fight to go. You can hear the prelims and the guys fighting before you. Usually you can hear the crowd. This time you won't be able to hear the crowd. You'll just be able to hear footsteps on the canvas out there. I like to listen to music. My music isn't pump up music. It's just more of a music that keeps me mellow, keeps me in the mood to keep my emotions where they need to be before I go out there and step into that cage. Start visualizing success, really start just working on those last little dry runs and rehearsals of our game plan, our striking game plan, our grappling game plan. And then they call your name. It's time to go. Then you got to go get into a contest. The culmination of the last 3 months that I've been working for all rides on me going inside that cage and putting on a great performance. And the stakes are always high, the pressure is always high. Either way, I've always said it, win, lose, or draw, my God still loves me, my family still loves me, and I still love me. This will be the first time in my whole career that my dad won't be in my corner. You know, my dad doesn't know anything about fighting. He doesn't tell me. He doesn't scream anything. No technique. He doesn't know anything about how to win a mixed martial arts fight. But he's there as a beacon and as a symbol of hard work. Ever since I was a young kid, from my earliest memories, all I remember was my dad's white carpenter pants, and he always had his work boots on. Every single morning he was up at 5, drinking his coffee, putting his work boots on, going to work, and then sometimes working extra side jobs and extra shifts. My parents are some of the hardest working people in the entire world. So to have my dad in my corner, to me, is more of a reminder of where I came from and who I am. You know, I'm still Michael Chandler from High Ridge, Missouri, who's a blue-collar kid who had to walk on to the University of Missouri wrestling team. I had to earn every single stripe, and my dad is a reminder and a beacon of that. So, you know, it's tough for him not to be there in the locker room, for his energy not to be there. I'll call him before the fight. I'll call him after the fight, after the win, and you know, then it's just about celebrating with my team here and then getting on the first flight home to go see my family.